lets you go, a thing you feel, the embrace you long for when you're gone, and a warmth only found here. It can be landscape on which life's toughest lessons are learned.
Oh, goodness!
Or the story of legends first told.
Here it is, a win for the ages.
It's tradition, passed down like heirloom. Each year, its meaning deepens.
Arnold Palmer is the Masters champion.
Yes, sir! As grand as it gets.
Unbelievable by Mickelson.
The return to glory. He's been holding back the emotion until now.
Memories live inside these walls, a foundation only shaken by the roars that fill its unmistakable air.
In your life have you seen anything like that?
What a finish here at Augusta.
The road always leads back to you. Welcome home
They're the familiar scene that never gets old.
to the Masters.
Welcome to CBS Sports HQ, presented by Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? I'm Jenny Dell. I would like the power to get tickets to the Masters. I mean, that would be incredible. We are now just one day away from the Masters, only the fun has already begun at Augusta. Practices were suspended on Monday because of weather. Yesterday was all sunshine for the players on the range, warming up, hoping to win the most coveted jacket in all of sports, and a couple $1 million while they're at it, of course. One of my favorite aspects of this week, the par 3 contest. That is today. We're going to have it all for you here on HQ. We got our casting crew out in Augusta National getting us ready for this week that every golf enthusiast waits for. We're bringing in, we got Rick Gehman, Patrick McDonald joining us now. So it's a tradition unlike any other, quoting our dear friend Jim Nance out there. But before we dive in, I want to touch upon something that's serious. Now, Hurricane Helene's impact. I want to point out that this hurricane claimed at least 230 lives. It left a trail of destruction, millions left without power, food, water. It was complete devastation. That's what's the important aspect of this. But how did the hurricane impact Augusta National, the course that you see right behind you today this year? Rick, why don't you start with it?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Jenny. I mean, it was devastation, and it still is. There's still a lot of the community that needs to be rebuilt. Augusta National has pledged quite a bit of financial help to do just that. But in terms of this golf course, there are a lot of trees that they've lost over the past couple of months, or trees that had to be removed. It's created a handful of different sight lines across this golf course, specifically on number 10. It might actually, Patrick, change the way some of these guys play this golf course. They've alluded to maybe taking a few different lines or not having to move the ball from left to right or right to left as dramatically as they have in recent years. So there are guys out here spending time Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday getting used to those new sight lines.
Yeah, we had John Rahm in the press center yesterday talk about maybe hitting a fade over those trees on number 10. And then he joked, well, if I say that, Augusta National might be planting new trees come tomorrow. So not only are the sight lines going to be different this week, but I think the wind down in Amen Corner, Rick, is maybe not as difficult. It's not going to be bouncing around as much. We saw those trees behind 11. They aren't going to be there. The Hogan Bridge really pops behind. And also 16, that par 3, they redid that green, but some of the trees behind there also not present this year. So we talk about Amen Corner, the second 9 at Augusta National, how the wind always seems to swirl. It's still going to be difficult. Seems like we got some wind here today, but I think throughout the week it might be a bit easier.
Yeah, as Patrick mentioned, 4 greens were rebuilt, specifically 16 that had some damage to it. Those greens likely to play a little bit more firm than usual, Jenny.
Well, it does look beautiful out there today. You guys are lucky, and it seems that the weather is predicted to be almost perfect this weekend. This is what we want to see from a Masters weekend. Rick, what can we expect from the conditions out there as we kind of get going with this all?
Yeah. the bad stuff's behind us, right? I mean, it's been nothing but abundant sunshine. The wind whipping around here a little bit too chilly for my liking, but doing a great job of drying out this golf course. And I think the plan is to get this as firm and fast as possible, right? I mean, have these greens running at over a 14 on a stimp, make it very difficult to control your golf ball on and around the putting surfaces. This is designed to be really a true test of golf, Patrick, and Augusta National is going to do everything they can to make sure this course does just that.
And make no mistake, it was a deluge of rain here on Monday. Rick was Sherpaing around the golf course on Tuesday, wore white shoes, rookie mistake, never going to happen again. But we saw workers out here making sure that the grounds were going to dry up fast, very quickly. There looks like there could be some rain in the forecast Thursday night into Friday morning. I am curious if that's going to help someone with that wave, if the softer conditions, more accessible pin locations, especially that Friday when the wind picks up later in the day, and we all know about those cut line nerves too.
Bet you guys didn't think you'd become weathermen here on CBS, but this is what we do. Also part of the tradition, and one of the best parts of it, the Champions Dinner. It's a long-running tradition dating back to 1952. So the former champ gets to pick the menu. This year, Scottie Scheffler. We had cheeseburger sliders. We had a cowboy ribeye, Texas-style chili, a chocolate chip skillet cookie for dessert, among others. What'd you hear about the dinner? Any insight?
Well, it's funny because this is Scottie's second time hosting the Champions Dinner, and he just ran it right back. Patrick,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
This is basically the same exact menu, just a little bit different. So he knows what he likes, and he knows what these guys like. It's a great tradition. It's an opportunity for a very small group of champions to get together and share stories and just relive the great moments, and we're always waiting for a little gossip to come out. You know, who was talking to who, what photos are going to make it out of the Champions Dinner. But I think there maybe been everybody was on their best behavior last night.
I think so. There was that picture I was talking about with Patrick Reed, Sergio Garcia, Phil Mickelson, and Chairman Ridley. I would love to see the transcript on that conversation. But Scottie Scheffler, he's a historian of the game. He's a very emotional guy. It does not make a lot to make Scottie Scheffler cry a little bit, and he said that this morning himself. And I think an important part of Scheffler hosting that Champions Dinner and why it's so meaningful to him is Ben Crenshaw, another Texan. You think Jordan Spieth in there, another Texan. Texans have done extremely well here at the Masters. Scheffler just the latest to do so. And so being able to share that moment with Crenshaw as well as some of his peers, which he really respects, I think made for a very big deal for Scottie Scheffler.
And when you look at that menu, there's definitely some Texas aspects to that with the cowboy ribeye, the chili out there, also good. Tiger Woods not in attendance last night. All right. So, yes, we are all aware of the green jacket, of course. Cam Smith, all right, won the 2022 Open Championship at St. Andrews, making headlines this morning. Not because of anything to do with the green jacket, but he showed up to the driving range wearing a blazer. Rick, what do you think of the outfit selection?
Well, he was just behind. He's over here on the practice area. I can confirm that he's taken the blazer off. He's back now in normal, just his normal golf polo, which is nice to see. It reminds me a lot of when Justin Thomas showed up wearing a tie, a cardigan and a tie. Yeah. I mean, this is an opportunity. The Wednesday before the Masters, you can show off what your brand is up to, kind of make a little bit of a fashion statement. I don't know how good an overcoat like that is for actually swinging the golf club, but you're more the fashion guy than I am.
Oh, stop it. You do me too well. I'm honestly surprised he doesn't have it on right now. I'm looking at him. It's kind of chilly. It's a little windy. I would put that bad boy back on, especially for the wind. I was saying earlier, all the fraternity houses across America, they see a guy in a mullet with a flat brim hat wearing a suit on the golf course. Those group chats must be going absolutely crazy right now. I heard a scream from the Malbon house, too. I think they're a little bit upset they don't have Jason Day in that, but certainly something, and certainly hoping it's green on Sunday for Cameron Smith.
Yeah, four top 10 finishes in the last 5 years, and what he's doing out there now, you can expect him to make a run out there. You know that's going to be like a Halloween costume for everyone too coming up. They're like, oh, what are you going to be this weekend? I'm going to be Cam Smith. I'm going to just go out there with your golf club. So good. All right, one of my favorite parts. The par 3 contest. It is underway. What's your favorite aspect of this part of the entire weekend, Rick?
This is the part of the week where we get to see more of the human side for these golfers, right? They're going to bring their families out. They're going to bring their children, their wives, their girlfriends, and it's going to just be a lot of fun. You're going to see the kids wearing their little caddy outfits. You're going to see them try to hit some celebrity shots out there, and it's just going to be a really nice way to cap off what is a week that, on Thursday morning will turn into an incredibly competitive golf tournament for the biggest prize that we have in our game. So it's a really nice ending to the lead up of the week, and it goes back, Patrick, to all of the tradition around here. We'll be down on that par 3 course the rest of the week. It is gorgeous. It's unbelievable. I'm excited to get down there.
You definitely get a little bit of a peek into who these guys are, right? They bring their families and they play with their friends. I mean, you were on the show with Sahith Theegala's girlfriend yesterday. Her first par 3 contest last year. Very nervous playing with John Rahm. A bit of an intimidating presence. This year playing with Sahith's good friends, Akshay Bhatia, Nico Echevarria as well. So maybe a little bit easier for him. And it seems like these loved ones, these caddies, always kind of steal the show. Whether it's Sammy Spieth or
Sung Jae-im's father, Jack Nicklaus's grandson too, making the hole-in-one. Siwoo's wife hit a better shot than he did.
Unbelievable action. It's ridiculous. So it's obviously a very fun day. We were joking. You can't win it though. Obviously, no one wants to win it.
Yes,
everyone knows that now too. Right. So it seems like one of those past champions always coast up there. They'll take the crystal.
Late.
They already have the green jacket. Right. So, but like Rick said, it's a really fun day and a great lead up to the tournament on Thursday.
As you mentioned, just seeing the human side of these guys, meeting their families, the kids, it's just the absolute sweetest, the perfect kickoff for what is going to be an incredible weekend at Augusta National. Rick, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be chatting with you a lot over the next few days. The fabled green jacket is on the line. The game's best descend upon Augusta National Golf Club for the 2025 Masters. You can watch it on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus Saturday, April 12th, and the final round is going to be Sunday, April 13th.
The Masters starts on Thursday, and then we've got your expanded coverage over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Our coverage will start at noon on Paramount Plus, streaming live until 2 when CBS and broadcast takes over, but you can stream that live all the way on Paramount Plus. Let's go out to Augusta now. Rick Gehman and Shane Bacon are standing by, and they're going to take us through different tiers of potential contenders this week. And let's start with a winner. And Shane, I like what you're doing here, because you're going with my pick, and I went with this just because of the value. Jon Rahm won here 2 years ago, but really isn't on the top of minds for golf fans that haven't been following LIV.
Yeah, he's played 18 LIV events, and he's 18 for 18 in terms of top 10s. I mean, that's very impressive no matter where you're playing. And Jon Rahm is one of those players. I've said it a lot. If you play well at Augusta, you play well at Augusta. He had a bad season last year in terms of major championship golf, but I feel like with the short game and the way he's able to pitch the golf ball, we were just watching him right behind us a few minutes ago. The short game is so dirty. Yeah. I just feel like he's primed and ready to play well here.
Yeah, and you mentioned the top 10s for Jon Rahm. I'll mention the top 10s for my pick, which is Xander Schauffele, who's played in every major championship since 2018, has finished inside the top 10 in half of those. Okay, there's nobody better at major championships since Xander made his debut than Scottie Scheffler. Obviously, the 2 that he won last year gets him on the board, and I know he's been dealing with some injuries, Shane, some rib stuff. I liked what I saw at Valspar. Picked up 11 strokes on approach, his career best. I think he's ready to rock and roll this week.
Has a T2 here, has a T3 here, 8th last year, and also a T10, and we know those 2 major victories last season. Let's go to the next tier here, contenders. And Rick is rolling on the Spieth coaster again.
I think I'm just trying to will it into existence.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
It's the only way to live in the Spieth world.
You just got to speak it into truth. Yeah, listen, the magic that Jordan Spieth gets from coming down Magnolia Lane is special. The fact that he has only won this once is just jarring to me. I like the way that he is combining some of the stuff that he did well last year, fighting through that wrist injury, and then continue to pick up some of the better stuff that he's always done in his career, like putting here in 2025. So this is scary. Like, I think he could miss the cut. I think he could win the golf golf tournament. I have zero idea where Jordan Spieth is going to finish this week, but I like my chances of him being in the mix.
I'll go with another American golfer. I like Russell Henley to contend and potentially win here at the Masters. Of course, he's never won a major championship before, but he plays well at Augusta. And I was talking to a player today about the greens. Okay. And typically the greens firm up as the week goes on. They're saying this is like the firmest they've ever seen them on a Wednesday. And I like the way Russell Henley rolls the rock, and I like Henley's opportunity to go out there and do something. On top of all of that, Rick, and you understand this, we're on a run of like big superstar winners at the Masters, and sometimes we get the kind of the under-the-radar guy to get it done. So I like Henley's opportunities.
Love it.
Just a month removed from winning at the Arnold Palmer back in early March. Let's go to Darkhorses. And Rick, you've got somebody who's had 4 top 10s here in his last 5 years.
Yeah, this is my live angle here. This is Cam Smith, and the record around here is pretty pristine. I think the good news for Cam Smith is that he is playing on live golf the same exact way he played on the PGA Tour, which is he's going to spray it off the tee. You can get away with that for the most part here, and he's going to be a short game wizard. We've had shot by shot tracking at the Masters since 2019, so 6 years of it. Cam Smith is basically the best putter at Augusta National that we've ever recorded. So I'm hoping that the magic comes back a little bit. He can short game his way around this place.
Rick, it's a live segment, I guess. I'm going Sergio Garcia as my, I guess you could say, bit of a sleeper. I mean, Sergio obviously a Masters champion, and he plays well, but so many of the players on live have been really stepping their game up in 2025. I like Sergio. It's a Ryder Cup year. He wants to make the Ryder Cup team. I think that's a little bit of extra motivation for Sergio Garcia. I mean, you see the reaction there. One of the biggest roars I've ever heard at Augusta National back when he won in that playoff over Justin Rose. So I think Sergio's kind of just on the outside in terms of the radar, but I think he's got a real opportunity.
Sergio has that green jacket, 2017 winner. What was that, Rick, from Cam Smith? What is he warming up for playing with the green jacket, wearing the blue jacket earlier today?
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I mean, he's seeing how it fits, right? Seeing if he can get used to wearing the overcoat. It was unique. I don't know if I could get around the golf. He did shed it pretty early, though. It
was cold this morning. It was chillier than we expected it to be this morning, so maybe you just throw on whatever jacket you can find.
All right, let's get to long shots. We have a little kid named Troy up in the newsroom. He's convinced, he's convinced that Phil Mickelson is going to win this thing because he got a ticket at 200-1 a couple of weeks ago, Shane.
Wow. I'm also convinced Phil can win this thing. Phil is dialed in. I mean, he's dialed on YouTube. He's dialed on Live. He's been playing pretty solid golf. He was out here grinding. I think he's still hitting range balls behind us. I think Phil understands he has a few opportunities left to potentially do this, and it feels like every time we count Phil out at Augusta National, he shows up and gets himself in contention. So I would not be surprised. I mean, this is a long shot, if you will, even though he's won here 3 times. But I think Phil could play himself into contention on the weekend.
It's been a low bar for Phil, but he's objectively playing the best golf he's played in like multiple years right now. So it is pretty interesting. I'm going to go with Daniel Berger, who injured his back and missed a ton of time. He's only played in 1 major championship since 2022, and he got hurt at the worst possible time when all the money was coming into the game, when everybody was getting all this great endorsements and everything. But DB is going to be straight vibing this week the way he has been for the vast majority of 2025. I love the well-rounded nature of his game. You're going to make bogeys out here, but he's able to bounce back. He's able to minimize those big numbers, and I think that he's probably one of the tougher guys that we have out here. I think if this gets gritty over the course of the weekend, he's going to be able to be in the mix.
Half the players you guys mentioned are live golfers. Compare this year to maybe last year or the year prior, now that we're kind of 2 years into this thing. What is the dichotomy like of live golfers out there with tour players?
I'm sure you remember this, Shane. Last year, Jon Rahm in his title defense was like sad.
Yeah, totally.
It was bizarre. It was not that engaged, intimidating Jon Rahm. He was going through it. It got a lot better for him as the major championship year went on. But like you said, we've got past champions in Patrick Reed, Charles Schwartzel, Sergio Garcia, Phil Mickelson, all playing the best golf that they've played in a very long time right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you go and look who played in practice rounds together. I mean, there's a lot of Live and PGA Tour crossover. It feels like all the animosity in terms of the players is far gone. They don't really care anymore. They just want to play golf with who they want to play golf with. And I think for somebody like Jon Rahm coming in, very comfortable, this is going to be a much easier year for somebody like Rahm. And I mean, I would not be surprised if a couple of Live players were near the top of the leaderboard on Sunday.
Guys, we're a day away from starting this thing. We know all the rain that came earlier in the week, but you mentioned how hard the green surfaces are. What do you expect this course to play like come tomorrow and Friday?
Going to be fiery. I mean, I don't expect anything super duper low on Thursday. If we get a little bit of rain like we're expecting on Friday, it will soften into the weekend. But I think you go out and shoot anything under par in this opening round is going to be an incredibly good score, especially when you talk to players about the greens and you see the fairways. I mean, there was moisture around Amen Corner. That is gone in, what, a day and a half?
Yeah.
So it feels like it's going to be a tough test.
The animals were lining up 2x2 on Monday. I mean, it was a deluge. And the fact that we are already at this level of dryness on the golf course, it's incredible. I'm sure that it is only going to get more firm. It's only going to get more fast. They're going to try to run these greens at like a 14 plus on the stimp. It's going to be awesome, and I think we're ready for it.
Looks great out there. Just two guys living in the moment. Rick Gehman, Shane Bacon, no phones for 7 hours. That's how it is at Augusta National. Great stuff, guys. Got all your coverage all week long. Those guys, Patrick McDonald, many more out there at Augusta National as we tee things up tomorrow morning. I believe it's early in the 8 a.m. hour on the East Coast that we'll get Jack Nicklaus out there on the tee, the ceremonial tee shots with Tom Watson to get things going. We'll bring that to you here on HQ.
But we're locked in on the Masters, and we're also locked in on Cam Smith in this outfit. This isn't for dinner. This is actually him at the range today. A full suit jacket. Looks like he has the pants to match too. Little design on there, taking some swings. And I have never seen this before. I don't think most of us have seen this before, but somehow this is how they practice, I guess, and live. I don't know. Cam getting the attention. It's all over social media. Maybe had the wrong jacket on, because take a look at it when it comes to the weather there at Augusta National. Round one should be nice and sunny, but Friday, look at it, 70 degrees, but precipitation 84%, a little windy out there, 10 miles an hour. Then Saturday and Sunday looks nice and special. Well, the Go of the Greens, Doug Bell tapping in with us. And before we get into anything, Doug, I need your reaction. Cam Smith in that suit jacket. I mean, I don't know if it was a double breast or a two-piece or what it might be, but have you ever seen anything like that on the range?
Brandon, I'm an old guy. I've never, ever seen that. I know he wants a green jacket as opposed to a blue blazer, but I think you got to go back to like Bobby Jones. Maybe like in the 1940s, the last time I saw a golfer come to Augusta National on the range with a jacket. I'm flabbergasted. I don't know what to say.
Well, they always say, you know, things go in cycles. So maybe Cam knows something that we don't know that's going to happen in 2025. Something else that we're hoping to see in 2025. You know, there are a few guys in this field this year maybe looking to make the Masters their first major. And one name that we always come across that you and I always talk about, Ludvig Åberg. He is the highest ranked player in the world rankings, number 5 without a major. Take a look at it here for everyone at home there. But I'm curious, your thoughts on maybe if he can make it. But before you do that, he was talking to Amanda Balionis this morning about his expectations this week.
Have you gone back and rewatched the final round from last year? And if so, what are your takeaways from it?
Yeah, I got asked the same question yesterday, and I haven't since last year. I remember coming back from Hilton Head last year, and I was sitting at home just watching it by myself, and it was quite nice. But I haven't watched it since. But obviously coming back here brings back a lot of cool memories from last year. And I think we played a couple of practice rounds. I think we said the word last year about 50 times, which is obviously really nice. So it's cool to be back, and but yeah, once Thursday comes along, that doesn't really mean anything, and we're going to be ready to go.
Your journey has been so interesting. I remember you telling me last year playing in the Ryder Cup prepared you to be on a stage this big. Now you come back, you obviously have a tremendous finish last year. You have way more experience under your belt. When you look at who you were as a player then and the experiences you were able to lean on versus what you're able to lean on now, how is it different and how is it maybe improved?
Yeah, I definitely think the experiences that I've had over the last 12 months, including my finish here last year, has definitely helped me. Obviously, coming into this event last year, I hadn't even played a major, so I didn't really know what to expect, and it was cool to sort of feel all the hype and all the buzz, and to be a part of it. And now when I've had sort of a year and a half under my belt, it's been really nice. You know, I feel like I'm growing as a player, and comes with experience, obviously. And but yeah, there's thousands of things that I'd like to do a little bit better. So hopefully we can keep improving, and I'll say the same thing in about 12 months' time.
What are the big ways that you are going to change maybe your course management or the mental fortitude it takes out here. We were talking to Colin Morikawa about that, and it seems like they're kind of combined, right? When stress gets high, it can force you into course management things that maybe you didn't want to do. How do you balance the two, and how are you more experienced in that, just having even one Masters under your belt?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't have a ton of experience, but I've sort of figured out that you can't really play Augusta National forcing things. You just have to sort of let it come to you and play to the right targets and be on. Sometimes a chip is easier than a putt, and it's really important to sort of stay on the right side. That's why you'll see so many guys with experience compete here, and hopefully, you know, I can be a part of that. And I felt like I did a good job of that last year, and it's such a cool place. You're sort of walking on cloud 9 all the time, and including myself, the golf fan inside of me loves it. So obviously it's really cool to be here again.
Well, we are so happy to see you here again. Good luck this week. Thanks for the time.
Doug, he just finished 4 shots off of Scottie last year, of course, who won the Masters. But coming in, he missed 2 past cuts there at the Players and then also at the Valero Texas Open. Your thoughts on, he said he's improving, but could we see something here this week?
I just don't think he has enough scar tissue built up, Brandon. Last year was his first ever major at the Masters, and what a debut it was. Finished the season with the other major championships. I just think you need to play Augusta National more than 2 years to really be a contender. I think he's a young guy with immense talent, but I believe that he's still in awe of the place, and you need to get over that. You need to get over the fact like, wow, I can't believe I'm at the Masters again. And I think that comes with age, that comes with having problems at the Masters and overcoming them. And so, listen, he's a favorite for a reason. He's really talented. We saw him win the Genesis Invitational at Torrey Pines when it was revamped there after the LA fires. But I think his game right now is not in a great spot, and I don't think he's going to win this week at the Masters. Great talent. I just think he needs to play a few more years at Augusta.
When it comes to those majors, as you hinted there, he needs a little bit more scar tissue. Missing the cut there, the Open, the PGA Championship, and that 12-play finish there. Outside of that, of course, we spoke to earlier this week Jim Bones Mackay about this being a learning experience. He won't be the only one, but we do have in the top 10 Russell Henley and Maverick McNeely. Getting a little buzz here. Chances they may be able to come out on top and show something here.
Well, for Maverick McNeely, again, a guy who had an incredible amateur career, and he won last year at the end of the season, the RSM Classic, but he's never played at the Masters. This is his debut. And so I don't think Maverick is, if he makes the weekend, which he probably will, I think that would be a success for Maverick McNeely. Now, as for Russell Henley, now you're on to something, Brandon. Here's a guy who's 35 years old. Russell Henley's played in 9 Masters. 2 years ago, he tied for 4th. You see the graphic. He's from Macon, Georgia, lives in Columbus, Georgia, went to the University of Georgia, played great at the U.S. Open last year, top 10, solo 5th at the Open Championship. So I think this is the time for Russell Henley. Won the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And again, we have this Georgia thing going, right? Sepp Straka, Harris English, obviously Henley, and then last week, Brian Harman. There's some karma going on with these Georgia Bulldogs. I think Henley is a great pick this week, and you get great odds with him as well.
Something to see there with those 3, and we talk about getting that first Masters, but we do have another Masters champion from 2009. The most intriguing story, Angel Cabrera back there on the greens at Augusta National after missing the cut in 2019, his first time back. But we know the story, of course, released from prison on parole in 2023 after 2 years. What have you been hearing about the buzz with him back there, not just on the greens, but there in the Masters?
Well, really an amazing story. Obviously didn't pick up a club for a couple of years as he served his time and paid his penance. Came back at the end of last year and played really well on PGA Tour Champions, had 4 opportunities, and then wins last week down in Boca Raton and played really good golf. Here's a guy who has a Masters Championship and a U.S. Open at Oakmont, and the only guys to ever do that, Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, Dustin Johnson. So he's in elite company. He plays. He's 55 years old. He's not that old. Listen, he's not going to win the Masters, but I think Angel Cabrera is playing good enough to make the weekend, and I think that would be a major success. He absolutely loved being at the Champions Dinner again last night, had set out the previous 2, obviously. Talked to the media yesterday about It was so special to be back. And so let's welcome Angel Cabrera back, the first South American golfer to ever don the green jacket. He's a heck of a story in the world of golf.